My husband lied to me about his best friend's tragic disappearance. When my husband and I first started dating, he mentioned his childhood best friend exactly once. They grew up together in a tiny town in Vermont, and when they were 12 years old, his friend walked into the woods behind my husband's family property and vanished. Search parties spent weeks combing through the forest. His friend's face ended up on missing posters and milk cartons across the state. The case went cold and became a local legend. They even have a few podcasts on it. However, my husband refused to talk about it. He'd leave the room if I brought it up, so I learned early on to never mention it. I assumed it was just grief, just the pain of losing someone he loved. I had no idea he'd been carrying something heavier until we flew to Vermont for Thanksgiving last month, and everything I thought I knew about him started falling apart. The first 2 days with his family were everything I'd hoped for. Years ago, my husband and I eloped because my husband said his family was too far away to plan a wedding around. So this Thanksgiving was my first time meeting any of them. His mother pulled me into a hug the second we walked through the door and whispered that she'd been waiting years to meet me. His father cracked open a photo album and walked me through every embarrassing childhood picture, while my husband groaned and covered his face. His aunt taught me her secret apple cider recipe and made me promise to carry on the tradition. By the second night, I remember sitting by the fireplace thinking I had never felt so welcomed anywhere in my life. These people had known each other forever, and they were making space for me like I'd always belonged. Then Thanksgiving morning came. My husband's cousin announced that the men were going hunting for the turkey. I laughed because I thought he was joking, but then everyone started grabbing jackets and heading toward the weapon cabinet. I stayed behind with his cousin's wife, who had married into this family 15 years ago and never left this tiny town. She was sipping bourbon straight from the bottle and started watching me with this strange little smile. I could see it in her eyes immediately. She resented me for some reason. "Smart choice staying inside," she said, swirling the bottle of bourbon. "I wouldn't go into those woods with your husband either, not after what happened with his little friend." My hands went cold against my coffee mug. I set it down slowly so she wouldn't see them shaking. Part of me wanted to walk away and pretend I never heard her, but I knew I couldn't. I asked her what she meant. She leaned closer, clearly savoring this. "You really don't know? Those two boys, your husband, and that poor innocent missing child, went into those woods together that day. Only one of them came back out." She sat back with a satisfied look on her face. I wanted to call her a liar, but she knew all the family gossip. The woman was a bloodhound. My husband's mother walked into the kitchen, and his cousin's wife went quiet, still smiling. I spent the next 3 hours helping with side dishes while my mind raced. My husband never told me they went in together. When the hunting party came back with a wild turkey, everyone celebrated, but I couldn't stop watching my husband's face, searching for something I'd missed for the past 3 years. That night, after everyone went to sleep, I found my husband sitting alone on the back porch, staring at the tree line like he was waiting for something to come out of the darkness. I sat down next to him, and the words came out before I could stop them. "Someone told me you were with a boy, you know, when he disappeared." He went completely still. For a long moment, I thought he might just stand up and walk away. Then his whole body seemed to collapse inward and he started talking. "We found my dad's pistol," he said quietly. "We joked that we could go out and hunt something. Just two dumb kids messing around. Then in the forest, we spotted a moose through the trees and got so excited. My friend wanted to shoot it, mount the head in his bedroom like a trophy. I knew my dad would destroy us both if we shot something that big, so I tackled him to stop him. A loud bang went off when we hit the ground. The moose charged at us, and we both just ran." His hands were shaking now. "I ran straight home. I thought he was right behind me. I thought he'd show up any minute." He finally looked at me, tears streaming down his face. He never came home, and I never told anyone we were together because I was scared they'd blame me. I held my husband on that porch until the sun came up. We flew home a few days later, and I thought that was where everything ended. Then my husband got a phone call from his mother. A construction company clearing part of the forest had drained an old pond for development and found human remains at the bottom. Dental records confirmed it was his childhood best friend. The sheriff said the ice would have been dangerously thin that time of year. His friend must have fallen through.